Hey guys, welcome back to the channel again. We are continuing with the Mini because obviously I've had this car for almost 2 weeks now, and I just thought I'd just give you my kind of feedback over my kind of ownership of the Mini Cooper S R53. Now in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about everything that is wrong with the Mini Cooper S that I've got. These are things that I've noticed and obviously things that I knew about when I bought the car. So in this video that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm hoping that some of you Mini enthusiasts out there, the R53 or the R50s, might have had similar issues and could possibly advise me on how to rectify these things, or do I need to even worry about them? So yeah, let's go and start discussing those things that are wrong with my Mini R53 Cooper S. Quick little walk around for you guys. This is the car that I've had for about 2 weeks. Picked it up for about $2.5 grand. Finished off in the electric blue. Did have a black roof, but I've addressed that and took the wrap off and got it back to its former glory. It's obviously wearing some BBS replica alloy wheels. They're not split rims. As you can see, there's just one piece. But yeah, I think the car looks absolutely stunning from this distance here. So the first thing that I noticed that's wrong with my Mini Cooper S is that this headlight here is a little bit cloudy. I have tried to get this rectified a little bit by using a bit of T-cut product. It has come out quite nice compared to how it was, but when you look at this one, it's a little bit better. Now these did have like a product over them. As you can see, there's a bit of like a hex thing on there. Needs a good polish, I think, on the front end to obviously rectify that. Let me know what products you guys are using. I'm using a T-cut headlight restorer, but it's not really cutting through that. So if there's anything that you guys can advise me on, that'd be great. Now obviously car 17 years old, has got a few kind of issues around here, like, you know, sort of dings and cracks and all. I'm not really worried about that, but one of the things I've noticed, this car had a sunshade over here which I've ripped off, and under the sunshade it's got a cracked windscreen. Now that might not be an MOT failure because it's kind of outside of the scope of the wipers, but is that something I should be worried about, and is that gonna kind of get bigger in that way? There is another kind of a crack which is down here, but it's been repaired and I can't really feel it with my nail, so don't think I should be worried about that. First I thought it was a bit of dirt, but clearly not. So from the front end, apart from a few scuffs or marks, there's nothing major that I should be worried about. There's a little one there as well. I'm not worried too much about that. Another thing that I found is that whoever's had this car before has done a bit of a bodge job here with this indicator. Look, they've even got some double-sided stickies there. So it works, but it's there. That might need addressing. Now this car was covered with some wrap work all the way on the roof and on the wing mirrors. Now I've peeled the roof off, the wrap, and it's come back to pretty good. There's a few minor marks, but again, age related, nothing major with that. But this is what makes me laugh. It's obviously broken, as you can see here, but for whatever reason they've used some kind of a glue product there and on here to kind of stick it together. Now it does kind of stick back on, but as you saw how easy it was for me to just pull it off. Took it for a car wash the other day, and with the jet wash it just flew off. So that definitely needs to be addressed. Moving around the side again, a few age related marks, nothing major. This has been plastic dipped. I just wished that this was actually a wrap so I could just unwrap it, but that's been plastic dipped. That needs to be addressed. Moving around the rear end, it's pretty decent. The only thing I've noticed, again, there's a few age related marks there, like a little ding. There's a wiper delete. Let me know, should I keep the wiper delete or should I put the wiper back on? Because being a hatchback, I do prefer it with a wiper, but let me know your setups and whether that's something I should really be worried about keeping or not keeping. There's a bit of rust down here that's just about to peel through. A bit dark on this side, so maybe might pick up here. Just a bit of rust there that's just about to sort of peel through the paint. I'm not too worried about that because rather than spending £200–300 repairing that, I could get the whole new boot lid for less than that anyway, so not too worried. One thing that is worrying is that this number plate is sitting a little bit low it should be just a little bit higher. As you can see there, there's just a little bit more kind of rust coming through. So yeah, that's another thing that I need to address. The reverse light down the bottom doesn't work. Could be an easy fix like a bulb, I'm hoping. That's something I just need to get addressed. But the rest of the rear end is now looking clean again, because these lights, they had a tint film on there which I've taken off. So that's now looking quite clean, like the way I like it. The alloy wheels, for example, they do look quite nice. This one's mint, there's no scuffs or anything like that on it. This front one, again, quite mint, can't seem to see any kind of scuffs. On the other side, this one's got a bit of a scuff down there, a bit of curb marking. Nothing too major. Again, you know, it's a, how can I put it, it's like a 17-year-old car. Nice bit of sound going on in the background. But yeah, like I say, it's a 17-year-old car, there's nothing really major going wrong with that. This one, again, there's a few kind of like light scuff marks on that I'm not too worried about. Now what I found in the boot is it's got an original, let me see if I can pull this out. It's got the original mini toolkit. Now this is quite interesting, because for such an old car, it's got the original mini toolkit in it, and so it kind of goes to show that it's been fairly quite a clean car ever since someone's actually owned it. I'll just sort that out in a bit there. Just close that off. So one thing I've noticed with the interior, there's a bit of a tear here. I'm not too worried about that, again, age related mark. But this is something that if I just get in the car, on here on the central display, there's a like a brake warning light that sometimes comes on. So it's this orange light here that usually stays on, and it's a bit temperamental because sometimes it's on and sometimes it's just off. So I'm not sure whether that's just a sensor thing. I will get the brake pads checked over, because it's quite possibly some of the brake pads might be on their way out or whatnot, so it could possibly be that. But obviously when I start the car, so there you go, now it's gone off, but earlier on it was on. Obviously EM alloy and all of that is usually off, which is quite good, because it goes to show that the car's obviously okay, and that's not a problem. Another thing that's a bit wrong with the car is that the steering wheel squeaks. So let me know if that's a common issue with the Minis, because I'm a bit concerned that that could be something as simple as power steering fluid, or it could be the steering rack. But you know, 125,000 miles, is that something I should be worried about? Let me know if you've had a kind of a similar issue. Another thing that's how can I put it, possibly wrong with the car is this. So if I've got my driver's window over there, and if I put the window down, it makes like a squeaky noise. So switch the car off. So I've tried to fix that using a bit of oil around the seal, but that hasn't really seemed to fix it. I really don't want to rip the whole door apart just to fix that kind of a squeak. But again, just let me know if you've had a similar kind of issue with it, and if it's something that you guys should be worried about or not. Moving on to the other door, I'll show you the issue with that one. So before we move on to the other door, I just want to show you something. So with this driver's door, it normally has like a, you know, like a bit of a spring there, or kind of like it stops there kind of thing, and then it stops there, and then it opens wide. So you have like a, you know, a stop there, so I'm not touching it, and then another one there, and then obviously it closes. Now if we move around to the passenger side, it's literally just one. So it opens wide, and then if you shut it, it goes there, and if I just touch it like that, it's like there's a bit of wind resistance, but there's no, you know, there's no stage stop there or whatever that is. So it's just kind of like free in a way. It might be something to do with the hinge, I don't know, but again, should I be worried about that? or not. Obviously the car's at a bit of an angle, so it's gonna just stop right there, but it's fine. While we're on the doors and the windows and whatnot, you might be able to see that we've got some scratches going on the window itself here, and if I'm running my nail across it, you can probably even hear that. That is probably to do with how many times these windows have been going up and down and probably rubbing against the internals of the door. Makes the car look a little bit untidy, I'd say, but is that again something I should be worried about, or what have you guys done if you've had similar issues to yours? How have you rectified that? Because even with a bit of polish I can't seem to get that off, so any help would be greatly appreciated. So under the bonnet then, let's see what we've got here, what's going on. We've just changed the intercooler. I think I mentioned that in my previous vid. So new intercoolers there, seems to be pretty good, seems to be doing the job pretty well as well. One other thing that I might have mentioned in the previous video is I've noticed that there's no air scoop here that feeds into the airbox. There's obviously like a hole down the bottom down there, you might be able to see where the hose is meant to go, but there's no air feed. So again, I think I do definitely need to address that. I don't know what's the story with this pipe here, so that don't know what's going on. This intercooler, although I fitted it, I do need to bolt it into the actual bolts as well. So apart from that, I think the engine is pretty clean. One other thing I've noticed is the oil cap. I think it's just snapped right off, but I can open that using a bit of, like, say, you know, a bit of force and whatnot, so that does definitely open. So yeah, this intercooler has been a worthy upgrade. I do notice a bit more of a response from the throttle as well, and you get a bit more of a whine coming through. But one thing, when you do fit that, I think I mentioned in my previous video, you do have to modify this top bit here and use like a little plastic bracket that goes across there, which kind of snapped off while I was doing this anyway, so just to be aware of that. There's no real coolant leaks or anything like that because I've already checked that out, so hopefully everything is pretty good under the bonnet. So guys, there we go. I hope you found this video somehow informative if you've got similar issues to mine on the R53. I'm not worried too much about, like, say, the bodywork of the car, because like I say, it's a 17-year-old car. It's mechanically, it feels sound, apart from a few niggly issues like the steering column, which kind of squeaks now and again, and there's that annoying brake sensor light thing that's intermittent, but I will be getting those things checked out. If you have had these kind of issues, then please just drop a comment below and reach out to me, because it'll be hugely appreciated, because I'm new to this whole R53 ownership and, like, you know, owning a 17-year-old car, because most of my cars, like the G20 and the M4, you know, they're virtually new without any kind of niggly issues. So it'd be quite nice to kind of hear from you guys on that front, to see if you had any similar kind of, you know, issues and whatnot. What I will do is I'll give you some start up and the rev of the car as well, just so that you can hear, like, the engine and, like, the supercharger whine and the exhaust as well. I'll leave that at the end of this vid. But yeah, if you have found this video useful and informative, definitely give you a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.